Welcome back to Football Daily. This is the story of how the second biggest club in Manchester attracted the best manager in the world. Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City in 2016 on the back of 6 titles and 2 Champions Leagues in 7 seasons as a coach. Having left Bayern Munich the season before after 3 consecutive semi-final knockouts in Europe, Pep had his pick of every big club in the world for his next job. But despite interest from Manchester United and Arsenal, both credited with approaches for the Catalan, he chose Man City, a team whose nouveau riche image seemed totally at odds with Pep's previous positions among the European football royalty. However, the Guardiola brand name put City in the top rank of global sides, and 4 years on, the team are permanent title favourites, while overtaking Bayern, Barca and Real Madrid in continental competition. But how did City get Pep through the door, and how long had their plan taken to come to fruition? Welcome to Everything You Need to Know, the new series where we give you the story behind some of football's defining moments. Let's find out. If you want to breed a show winner, you need to start with the best stock, and no one boasts pedigree like Pep Guardiola. Arriving at La Masia, the Barcelona academy, at 13, he stood out early on. Famously, Johan Cruyff visited the Barca B training ground in his early days as Blaugrana manager and suggested to the B team coach that the right winger be shifted into the pivot role in central midfield, giving Pep a new number, 6, and a new identity. He would anchor the Barcelona side, which would win the European Cup and 6 titles in his time there, and reinvigorated the regista role in Italy too, while winding down his career with Brescia, with the Lombardy side converting a young attacking midfielder called Andrea Pirlo into a deep-lying playmaker when Pep moved on to Qatar. Retiring at 35, Pep returned to Catalunya, taking charge of Barca B himself. However, his influence was already felt in Spanish football. Never quick or strong as a player, but technical, elegant and clever, he inspired a new generation of domestic talent which prized ball movement over moving with the ball. An idea which produced Xavi, Fabregas and Alonso and culminated in a first World Cup victory in 2010. By that time, Pep had been Barcelona first-team manager for 2 years, beating Jose Mourinho to the job and repeating history by plucking a young midfielder out of the reserves to become his pivot, Sergio Busquets. The Guardiola blueprint married hard-working utility men like Pedro and Seydou Keita with world-class talents like Dani Alves, Messi and Iniesta, and his team became a unique blend of machine-like automation and staggering creativity, pressing and moving as a unit before cutting through opponents with ruthless simplicity. They won 3 titles and 2 European crowns in 4 years, setting a new record points tally in the top 5 leagues with 99 in 2009-10. But the burden of running his childhood club drained Pep, as did his own high standards and those of the Barca faithful. He handed the reins to assistant Tito Vilanova, took a year off, and then joined Bayern Munich, where he reinvented himself. Barca's wingers had been an afterthought. Messi was never on the flank unless he wanted to be, Pedro was pressing the centre-backs, and width came mostly from Dani Alves and Jordi Alba. But Bayern's strength was its wide men, with striker Mario Mandzukic in the team to serve superstar wingers Ribery and Robben. Pep's German team was faster than his Spanish one, allowing Ribery, Douglas Costa and Kingsley Coman freedom to take on defenders in wide areas and cross for Mandzukic, Müller and later Lewandowski. All 3 would manage over 25 goals in a season under Guardiola. And while he never added to his Champions League haul, he built a relentless winning machine, with Bayern winning 75% of their games under him. His time in Germany would last 3 years and see 7 trophies added to the Bayern cabinet. But across Europe, Man City were waiting to strike. It's tempting to see City's path to the top as a straight line, but truthfully, the citizens had their share of false starts. A 2007 takeover by billionaire Thaksin Shinawatra ended in failure when the former Thai Prime Minister's assets were frozen as part of a corruption investigation, and he had no choice but to sell up to the Abu Dhabi United Group, pocketing £200 million. Emirati money soon began to appear on the pitch, in the form of David Silva, Gareth Barry and Yaya Toure, but City were also building something behind the scenes. Using AC Milan's training complex as a blueprint, the Sky Blues set aside £170 million to develop their training facilities and expand the main stadium, making their goal the production of world-class homegrown talent for the first team by 2027. An aim inspired by Pep's success with La Masia graduates in Barcelona. City understood that the best thing to spend their money on was expertise, and they knew where to find it. After failing with a move for Guardiola in 2012, they decided to plump the pillows for a later seduction, and instead moved for former Barcelona Vice President for Financial Affairs Ferran Soriano and Blaugrana Director of Football Chiqui Begiristain. Soriano had made the Barca board at 36 and prided himself on his hard-headed realism, turning a yearly revenue of €130 million into over €300 million in the space of 5 years at the club, while reducing the wage bill from sapping 88% of Barca's funds to just half. Begiristain, meanwhile, was a true believer, a former attacker who'd made 300 appearances for Barca under Cruyff and beside Guardiola. A key figure in rejecting Mourinho for Pep in 2008, Begiristain was keen to bring players to the club who could fit their style, while increasing Barca's global popularity, with Ronaldinho among his acquisitions. The two quickly got to work cutting costs and rebranding the team as not only a winning one, but an attractive one, a goal which inevitably pointed towards Pep. But in the meantime, City committed to the formula. "I chose City because I was convinced they knew my footballing model," said Manuel Pellegrini when he took over in 2013. Managers have to deliver the spectacle fans want, especially at clubs that invest a lot of money signing the world's best players. The Chilean built on the work of Roberto Mancini, bringing a second title to the Etihad and crafting the highest scoring side in PL history in 2013-14. While signings like Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne primed the team for a long stay at the top of the game. The Belgian in particular was a coup, a player Pep had wanted to sign for Bayern Munich, and Soriano and Begiristain knew the coach was tiring of Germany, where his methods were increasingly questioned by pampered players. In the winter of 2015, they approached him again, with the promise of a £150 million transfer kitty and a wage increase of over £2 million a year to a then world-beating £15 million. Handed the chance to build a new Barca in the north of England, Pep was more than tempted. Bayern quickly identified Ancelotti as the Spaniard's replacement, and Pep's move to Manchester was made official in the spring, a decision which saw City limp into 4th place in the Prem, their worst finish since 2010. But something bigger had been achieved. By hiring the best coach in the world, City had made a statement. They were here to stay. Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Pep arrived in a division dominated by 6 clubs, not 2, and his first season was a disappointment, as City finished trophyless and 3rd, the only time the Catalan has missed out on the top 2 or gone without silverware in his career. However, the next year would deliver the success Soriano and Begiristain had hoped for, seeing City become the first English club to earn 100 points in a season, as well as setting records for goals scored, wins and goal difference. In the whole season, they were behind for just 153 minutes. In 2018-19, they triumphed again, joining Chelsea and Man United as one of just 3 clubs to retain the Premier League crown. And, while they took 2 fewer points than the year before, that was still the 2nd highest tally in the competition's history, a satisfaction augmented by pipping an outstanding Liverpool side to the title, again winning 32 of their 38 matches in the process. While the team has since been caught and even surpassed by the Reds, as well as slapped with a 2-year ban from the Champions League, it's clear that the capture of Pep has permanently altered the future of the club, as well as their corner of Manchester. A journey which began in 2008 has taken City from the middle of the pack to the top of the game, and whenever Pep leaves them, his place in their history will remain. So that's everything you need to know for this week, but if you've got an idea for a future episode, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to drop us a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to never miss a video. We'll see you next time.